Relative age effect by Abigail Gregson. The relative age effect is identified as an aspect of talent, and I will be focusing on the importance of it as well as the impact it can have on sports performance. So, what is it? Data from a range of fields, such as education and sport, have shown that the policies of grouping learners into age groups provides advantages to some, while disadvantaging others. Although these policies are well-intentioned, discrepancies in age between those born immediately after and those born immediately before the date used to group learners into cohorts, which led to significant differences in social evaluations like grading in school or talent identification in sport. These differences are collectively known as relative age effects. The relative age effect has emerged as a consistent and pervasive secondary factor affecting an athlete's likelihood of attaining the highest levels of skill, Cobley 2009. It is a phenomenon in which children born in or close to a critical age cut-off period may have an advantage in both athletic and academic endeavours. An earlier birth is typically associated with increased physical ability, whereas those who are born at a later date will be at a disadvantage, and it can principally be put down to being physically, emotionally and cognitively less developed than other children. Although these consequences of relative age-based comparisons can last into adulthood, most researchers, Cobley, Meuch and Grondin, propose that the mechanism of the effect operates early in development when relative age differences in a cohort are at their highest. The relative age effect is broken down into 4 quartiles, and these are called the first quartile, second, third and fourth. The first quartile are those born between the months September through November, second, December through February, third, March through May, and fourth, June through August. Individuals born in the early quartiles are more likely to persevere in sport by being able to actively dominate in physical bouts and key performance measures. This suggests that as time goes on, those who are less mature drop out of sports as they are not as successful, motivated, or fulfilled by the experiences in their younger years of competition. This highlights that those born in the fourth quartile are at a physical disadvantage as they are often grouped together with those who are a year older, Meuch 2001. So how does the relative age effect influence sport performance? As stated before, the relative age effect mainly favours those born at the start of the year, providing benefits such as physical and cognitive advantages due to their additional months of development, which can make them stand out in early stages of their sports development. Coaches and talent scouts might be more likely to select and invest in athletes who are physically more mature, leading to increased opportunities and better resources for the relatively older athletes. Early success can also boost the confidence and motivation of relatively older athletes, while younger athletes may experience setbacks and reduce motivation, potentially affecting their long-term development. Green 2024. Even though there are benefits of being born in the first and second quartile, there is a risk that it can lead to early sports specialisation and overuse injuries in later years. This can be put down to the fact that because of their athletic capability at such a young age, they could be taken advantage of and get pressured into specialising in one sport. As this isn't great for those older athletes, it does make it more beneficial for those born in the third and fourth quartiles, as it allows them to catch up and possibly overtake the early specialised talented athletes in later years. Fortunately for athletes, this process generally evens out after the age of 17 and may even reverse as less developed athletes negotiate and interact with a variety of methods to handle a more physically developed opponent. This is why it is important to be aware of the relative age effect to ensure fair and equitable opportunities for all young athletes. With this in mind, sporting organisations and coaches have started to develop strategies to mitigate the effects of the relative age effect, such as adjusting age groupings, using birthday cut-offs and focusing on long-term athlete development rather than short-term success. Sport Bounce 2023. An example of an athlete who was born in the second quartile is Michael Edwards, also known as Eddie the Eagle. For someone who was born at the start of the year, he only ever made one athletic achievement throughout his career. In the 1988 Winter Olympic Games in Calgary, Eddie the Eagle became the first competitor to represent Great Britain in ski jumping, where he set a record of 73.5 metres. Despite this great athletic achievement, he doesn't have anything else to show for. He ended up coming last in the 70 metres and 90 metre events at the Games. He failed to qualify for Britain's alpine skiing team, and he ended up finishing last in the 1987 World Championships. On top of these failures, Edwards' Olympic life in ski jumping didn't last long. Shortly after Calgary, the so-called Eddie the Eagle rule was instituted to stop future amateurs qualifying for the Olympics. This shows that being born in the first and second quartile doesn't automatically guarantee athletic success within sport.